welcome to Half the Battle, I guess. Though calling a show Half the Battle when talking about Avengers is a bit, weird. Especially since Thanos, got rid of half of... Yeah, you know what I'm saying. The reason I'm doing this little vlog is because I didn't have any time to really work on the next episode this week. It was a long weekend and I'm working on stuff that's coming out later. Next week, in fact, when it will be May, and that's main character May, so I'm doing some prep work for that, as well as another project that's gonna come out in July. As such, we're gonna talk about Avengers Endgame. The first part of this will be spoiler-free. I'll put up a placard when we get to the spoilers, okay? So, Endgame. It was great! Go watch it! No, really, go watch it right now! There were certain scenes where I just got goosebumps. It was incredible. It was a really fitting end to a story that started 10 years ago with Iron Man 1. They did a great job. Now, you don't need to rewatch all 22 other movies in the franchise, but you should have watched them at least once. Because there are a lot of callbacks in this movie. The only non-spoiler criticism I have is that, well, some of the scenes seem to run a little long. They could have been shortened. I mean, it's a 3-hour movie for Christ's sake. You could have cut a little something. Right, so now we're gonna get into spoilers. So this is your last warning. If you haven't seen Endgame, go see it now. Well, for those of you still with us, welcome to Spoiler City. Though I'm not gonna give away the ending or the character endings, just some more general stuff. First of all, there's no scene after the credits. I really wish somebody had spoiled that for me before seeing the movie. Anyway, let's talk a bit about the characters, starting with the force of habit. Captain Marvel was badass in this movie. Though, personally, I would have liked it if she was used more, though I completely understand objectively why she wasn't. After all, this was a story about the original Avengers and the adventures they've had over the last 10 years, as well as the Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange and stuff. And Captain Marvel, well, that movie only came out a little over a month ago, so she's really not part of the ensemble that's been there for, well, years and years. So I totally understand why she didn't have a major part in it. I mean, if she had become the main character out of nowhere, well, that's stealing the story from the original cast almost. You could almost call it grand larceny. You wanted a joke, you got a joke. Hell, this is why I don't really mind that there wasn't a scene after the credits, because those scenes usually set up the future, and this felt very much like an ending. I mean, the movie is called Endgame, right? Though there was one bit near the end where they set up Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I think. We'll have to wait and see. Now here's a spoiler that everybody has guessed. Of course, the snap gets undone. I mean, this wasn't really a surprise, considering there's a Spider-Man movie coming, another Black Panther movie, and God knows what else. And since the snap was undone, a ton of characters come back for a huge battle at the end. I mean, this thing, it was incredible! So many cameos! I think the only character that wasn't there was Howard the Duck. The final huge battle might as well have been called Game Master Anthony's Birthday. If you don't get that reference, why don't you go ahead and look that up? Now, one thing didn't happen in the movie, and a lot of people feared that it wouldn't. So I'm sorry to report that at no point does Ant-Man crawl in Thanos' butt. I know, I'm just as disappointed as you are. I'm also disappointed that there wasn't a Squirrel Girl. I still want my Squirrel Girl movie, Marvel! So overall, I want to make it clear I really loved Endgame, okay? There's no doubt about that. But there were a few things that I thought, well, I didn't really care for that much. I'll just go over those real quick. From the trailers, you remember when Hawkeye and Black Widow, they meet up again? And, well, that scene is in the movie, but there's a whole bunch of stuff before that, all to do with Hawkeye, and it's basically, we interrupt this Avengers movie to bring you Arrow Season 1. It felt a bit too long and a bit out of place. Now, since at the end of Infinity War, Thor failed in his mission to stop Thanos, he doesn't take it well in Endgame. He's pretty much destroyed by it. And this could have been so much pathos, so much emotion, but they made it funny. And to be honest, the fact that it's funny, it works really well. I'm not sure it fits with the character, you know? I thought that they would go with making Thor dark and broody and depressed, but since Hawkeye's got that covered, they went to completely the opposite direction and made it, well, funny. The more I think about it, the more ambiguous I feel. I mean, on the one hand it works, on the other it really isn't where I would have seen the character going, but still. There's only one thing that really bothered me. We don't get a Hulk-Thanos rematch, like, at all. I mean, they started Infinity War with the Hulk getting his ass kicked by Thanos, and Banner spends the rest of the movie not being able to Hulk out. So I thought we were heading for round 2. But nope, they never even fight, I think. Well, not one-on-one anyway. I suppose this is a little problem with Thanos, you know, having pissed everybody off to various degrees. You'd want everybody to get revenge, but there's just so many of them. Well, where do you draw the line? Where do you start? When you think about it, Thor, he's got a lot of reason to want to kick Thanos' ass. Rocket Raccoon, and when the snap is undone, there's Drax, there's the Hulk, and none of them really, with the exception of Thor, none of them really get their moment. Some others do though. Scarlet Witch, it's a great scene. But Drax is sort of just there. I mean, that's what I mean when there are so many cameos. Everybody does show up, but most of them only get like one line. Because, well, it's almost literally a cast of thousands. Overall, Endgame is a great movie. You should see it if you haven't already. And the only minor criticism I have is that some things I personally would have done differently. But then again, I'm not a multimillionaire director. Yet. Also, seriously, Squirrel Girl movie. Get on that. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing. I'm pretty sure I'm wearing this shirt back to front. Because, well, I think the text was only on the back and I wanted to show you guys, so